If you're a fan of a comic that just became political,
you have to wonder. We know who these people are.
Yeah, like if
we know who these comedians are. Like we're talking about comics, and we're just like we're all just sitting here like in disbelief. Like, and it's like
the absolute ignoring of evidence from the past is mind-boggling. Where you go, well, he didn't act like that, and then all they have to do is go like, yeah, I didn't like the woke mind virus. And you go, that's not even how you talk. And then you see the people that switch and you go, who are you?
The people that like got involved, like after having no opinion.
That's the
craziest one.
If you ever see me go political, something is wrong. I have lost the ability to write a joke.
Comedy podcasting is entering this world of like news or something.
Yeah.
And people are taking it serious. They're all having like politicians on.
Journalists.
Tim got fucking interviewed by like CNN.
Yeah.
And I saw that they had Bernie on Schultz's show.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
They're all next to Trump. We're like a step away from the presidential election. Everything's divided and weird. And comedians are in suits at a presidential inauguration.
I think you'd be surprised.
Not only do they care more about podcasting than stand-up, but now they also care more about politics than stand-up. Because I guess just goofing around with your comedian friends on a podcast isn't enough for these podcasters either. You know, there's still more money out there. So they had to become political grifters and start interviewing and hanging out with politicians and tech oligarchs, which I think most comedians outside of Austin and Rogan's inner circle are just laughing at, especially the New York comedians like Dan Soder, who is even pretty friendly with Rogan and has been on his podcast. He's like, what the hell's going on? You know, because he personally knows these comedians. So he's like, to see them get political all of a sudden is wild because I know what they used to be like. I know they're full of shit and they're just doing this for money.
If you're a fan of a comic that just became political,
you have to wonder. We know who these people are.
Yeah, like
we know who these comedians are. Like we're talking about comics, and we're just like we're all just sitting here like in disbelief. Like, and it's like
the absolute ignoring of evidence from the past is mind-boggling. Where you go, well, he didn't act like that, and then all they have to do is go like, yeah, I didn't like the woke mind virus. And you go, that's not even how you talk. And then you see the people that switch and you go, who are you?
The people that like got involved, like after having no opinion.
That's the
craziest one.
If you ever see me go political, something is wrong. I have lost the ability to write a joke. And I am clawing for money. Or I owe someone a lot of money.
This is what people they must be making so much money.
That's what it is. And then what it is now you're chasing the money, so you're just willing to...
Look, I think, if they're talking about Joe, I think at a degree, Joe did talk about politics in his comedy, but it was mainly like, you know, it's weed, legalization, which is somewhat political, right? On the other hand, then you have Theo Von, right? Which, you know, his comedy is just silly, you know, a couple of liners, you know, a couple of hitters here and there, and then all of a sudden he's got JD Vance and the president, right? I mean, obviously he's not equipped for that, and I think it's just charity at that point for that politician to go in there, get some points on popularity from the podcaster's audience, right? Because normally, you know, fans, they like to connect with the person they like, which, you know, Theo Von, and at that point it's like, you know, influencing your audience into liking that person because you like them and you say that they're great and all that stuff, right? But I think, you know, where the grift is like, I don't think they can make money off of it just basically, yeah, like I have Trump on, which is, you know, ad revenue, I'm not gonna lie about that, but at the same point, it's like he's not gonna be selling like, you know, MAGA hats and all that stuff, right? But he's gonna garner an audience, right, which is the more conservative, right-leaning type, but at the same time, he's gonna be losing an audience because of the views that people don't like, or, you know, he's promoting somebody that they don't like politically. So, you know, it depends on where you're going there, but also I guess for right now, like they had so much shit, they talked so much shit about Biden, and so they were just hard on Biden, and then they went and they just picked Trump because apparently, you know, Trump is you know, he's not a politician, he's a businessman, so he does shit differently, right? But that's the con already. If you know who Trump is as a businessman, you'll know that he sucks. right? But that's the reason why also they shouldn't be in politics, because they're not doing their research. They're looking at headlines and articles. You know, you can see Joe Rogan does this shit all the time. He's always saying like, yeah, I saw this article, and he just read the title. He didn't even read the article at all, like, you know, read it. He just read the title, and he's like, yeah, that's crazy, right? And then he reads it, and it's like, oh, what? I didn't know it actually said that.
They were like cheering that this old guy knocked his son out. I was like, you guys are crazy. That you failed. You failed as a man. Yeah, this is it.
That's not exactly what was happening.
It's not? What is it?
They're not father-son.
Oh, why does it lie?
Because
it says father knocks out son in celebrity boxing match.
Gotta get somebody to click on this.
Oh.
This was like a YouTuber thing. This guy's a YouTuber and he's a YouTuber.
I'm such a sucker.
It happens all the time. But yeah, like Dan Soder, you know, he doesn't talk about politics, but when he does, it's like, it's funny, right? But when these people talk politics, it's like, you know, all of a sudden, you know, Theo Vaughn especially, like, why are you talking about politics, dude?
Say whatever you need. And by the way, both sides, far left, far right, it always crumbles. And watching them return.
So I think a lot of these comedians just got greedy, and I think they wanted to be part of the big club that George Carlin used to talk about. You know, they wanted to hang out with the elites. They wanted to be at the presidential inauguration. They want to get flown out to the Middle East with the president. They want to have a seafood dinner with JD Vance. You know, they just want to be part of the club. They don't care about their stand-up act at this point, or if their podcast is being used as a propaganda tool. They just want money and to be part of the elite, even if that comes at the cost of comedians thinking they're a joke now. You know, it seems like most comedians...
Well, I think right now there's a shift, right? Joe is like, I don't like what Trump's doing right now. And Theo's like, I don't like what Trump's doing right now in Gaza and all that stuff, right? And then Andrew Schultz is like, I don't like what he's doing either, you know, and also the tariffs and the stock market and everything's all terrible, and he's doing a terrible job. And now they're getting this buyer's remorse thing, you know, because they got in the politics game and they just didn't do the research, right? Quote a legend, Eddie Bravo, look it up. These guys did not. And Joe used to be that guy who would actually do research back then. And now this is the thing though. I think where the problem lies is that, you know, when you, this is the funny thing about when you become a conservative, you know, it's like, yeah, I'm a conservative now, so I want the tax cuts and I want all these other things, right? But then at the same time, they remember, oh yeah, I used to be poor, and now, oh shit, you know, I have fans that are poor, and they're gonna think I'm a fake, I'm a fraud. But it hits everybody a different way, right? I think this is like sort of that thing where you become conservative and then you just care about your money and the taxes and how you get taxed.
Outside of Rogan Circle just think the whole thing is really bizarre and is hurting the comedy podcast scene. And this is just what they say on podcasts. So off air, they must be talking a lot of shit.
Comedy podcasting is entering this world of like news or something.
Yeah.
And people are taking it serious. They're all having like politicians on.
Journalists.
Tim got fucking interviewed by like CNN.
Yeah.
And I saw that they had Bernie on Schultz's show.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
Tensions are high down there. It's a weird space because people are there, and now there's they're all next to Trump. We're like a step away from the presidential election. Everything's divided and weird fucking hemisphere where these comedians are in suits at a presidential inauguration.